Okay, everyone. Glad to see us all on the huddle. And Angela's going to come and share with us a little bit tonight. But before we do, we're coming into our last week. We've had 5 full weeks of the challenge with daily readings, videos, some accountability with your team, as well as, your food or exercise. What are some of your wins? What are the celebrations? Unmute yourself and share with us. Can't be shy.
Okay, I'll go. I'm thankful for the gift of activity. It's been fun being able to get outside and hike. Bruce and I went on a hike yesterday that was close to our house, but we live in town and we didn't know this trail was there. And it had some pretty steep incline on this hill. And when we were doing it, I was getting a little bit out of breath, but it was really pretty steep going up. And I just kept thinking, 3 years ago, I would have had to stop a half a dozen times to get up that hill. And, and it was just so fun to just zip right up it. And the path was kind of muddy and I could do it. It was just awesome. So I guess that would be a non-scale victory.
Yeah. And Gloria, what was your total weight loss in the health changes over the last 3 years?
In 8 months, I lost 81 pounds.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah.
Right. Very exciting.
So you are really appreciating your health and that ability to be active. I love that.
And when we got done, it just felt like a great workout. I didn't hurt anywhere. I didn't have joint pain like I would have had before. And it was awesome.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. Someone else, tell us, what is something that's happened during the challenge, or a new discovery, or a new win?
Olivia's had some pretty cool wins recently. Olivia, would you want to share?
Sure. I would say obviously I'm in the first 3 weeks, so I'm seeing a lot of weight loss, but which is obviously really exciting. But even more exciting than that has been just how I've seen my thought process change. I know that's kind of what Angela's going to touch on tonight, but at first, at least, I felt like I was missing out on a lot of things. I was a huge pizza eater before. So my husband and I order pizza like at least once a week. And he's in the military. He's a military police officer. He's very in shape. He's active all day long. So he can eat, probably shouldn't, but he can eat pizza once a week and not, ever really see any weight gain, at least at this point in life. So the first couple times, I even texted Angela once because I was like, I just cried over pizza. Like, is that even normal? Because I just felt like I was missing out so badly. But especially this week, I've realized that I'm not, to feel sorry for myself. I'm not missing out. I'm really doing myself a favor. And so that's been a huge victory. Yesterday was his birthday, and we went out to eat, and I used the dining out guide and stayed on plan, and even made him little cupcake things and didn't go off plan at all. So I was really excited about that.
That's Olivia. Did you say your weight loss number?
Not yet. I'm going to weigh myself again on Wednesday, but so far it's 8 pounds. So
congratulations. Nice job.
Thanks. It's exciting.
Yeah. Someone else want to talk about a win for this, either during the whole 5 weeks so far, or maybe something this week, something that stood out with you, maybe one of the readings or personal victory?
I've got a personal victory. Can you guys hear me on my phone? Okay, this is new, so just trying to figure it out. So this week has been really sunny in the Pacific Northwest, which is cool, but usually what I've noticed is with the sunshine and mostly with the challenge, I've been really focusing on getting outside and walking every day. And normally the winter is like an emotionally difficult time for me. I kind of struggle with that, like winter blues. And it was yesterday that I realized, like, whoa, this is the first year that February hasn't been miserable and like, just like emotionally down. So I think all of it, just like getting outside and keeping that consistent exercise, as well as like I'm really being intentional with my eating, has made such a difference on just like my emotions. So that's just been a huge win to see like this winter from last winter. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And you have a brand new little baby, so all the more reason that you have an excuse if you were looking for one.
Yeah, and it's like even the fact that I'm not getting consistent like sleep and I'm still feeling positive is pretty cool.
That's awesome. Someone else? Well, I'll share a personal victory, and mine has been exercise and activity. And I didn't come from a sedentary family, so I've shared with the group before. It's good for me to be accountable to all of you. And yes, I'm seeing consistent exercise routines that I'm, checking off and feeling like, okay, this really is becoming who I am. And I love it. I'm trying my hand at yoga, and I'm doing lots of hiking as well as some exercise classes at the gym. So for me, it's huge. And honestly, you do feel so much better physically and emotionally, and easier to make good choices the rest of the day because you started out, properly. So that's a personal victory for me. I've loved the challenge for holding me accountable, and I love exercises. They're so simple. It takes away all the excuses that we don't have an hour to go to the gym, because if you have 2 minutes or 5 minutes while you're making dinner in the kitchen, you can do some of the arm lifts with the, cans of peaches, or they're just pretty awesome. Someone else before we move into the next section.
I can share a little bit.
Please.
I felt pretty crummy the last couple of days. I'm a teacher, so I'm on midwinter break. A lot of the kids were pretty sick before break. And I was laying on the couch moaning and complaining that I wasn't feeling good. And in the past, I probably would have gone down to the kitchen and dug to the very back of the cupboard where all those foods that other people eat are hidden. But I just focused on drinking and drinking and drinking. I think the other day I drank 4 liters of water, and I feel better for it. But for me, the comfort eating when I don't feel good has been a big problem. So knowing that I was going to have to speak today about what my win was, that was it.
Becca, that's so true. Just holding ourselves accountable, knowing that someone's going to ask us, right?
Yeah.
On Valentine's, my husband and I were down here in Nevada, and we were walking the mall, and we went and found Tivana, right? And so it was like, yes, there's this little treat and these wonderful teas that we've been steeping all week, and it feels good. It feels good that there's something, that brings pleasure that doesn't involve sugar. At least for me, sugar is, something that I'm drawn to in certain times. So it's been fun. It's been very fun. Well, I want to share my screen with you, and I want to show you a picture of a beautiful lady that I think you guys will recognize. And let's see if I can get it right here real quick. And then I want Angela to come on and speak. We'll go right here. And this is the latest picture from Facebook that Angela, you put on. So with that being said, would you share with us what you had prepared for us?
Yeah, I will. I like the screen share there. That's me. So, I guess I would like to share my win for yesterday was that I went to a gathering. I told Olivia about this. There was pizza there. Pizza has always been my vice. And I took spaghetti squash with diced tomatoes and Italian seasoning and made it so good that I didn't even miss out on the pizza. I didn't even care. So that was really exciting. But yeah, so what I kind of wanted to talk with you guys about tonight was just going a little bit deeper into, I think what was shared last week was stop, challenge, and choose. And so I just wanted to just talk a little bit more about challenging ourselves mentally. And so I don't know if anybody else can relate to this, but sometimes I feel like I'm a victim to myself, just getting healthy. I feel like I'm a victim. I don't know, I can't do it. And it's just like in my brain, there's something about, there's like a mental roadblock. And I find myself thinking things like, why me? Or I feel so deprived, or I can't even look at this cake without gaining a pound. And so I don't know. I often find myself like in this battle of feeling like a victim. But what I've really been learning is that my thoughts come first, which cause me to have feelings. And that drives my actions, which lead me to results. So really it just starts in my head with what I'm thinking. And then I start to notice that I have emotions that follow. So our thoughts are always preceding our feelings. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you can bet those feelings started with thoughts. So there have been times that I've felt like quitting, and I have to just stop and ask myself for a minute, like, what are these thoughts that are circulating around in my head? And so I think just becoming aware of the internal dialogue that's in my head is I've found that to be the first step in changing these patterns in myself. And so I'd like you to think for a second, what are some of the things you're telling yourself in your head throughout the day? Do you recognize that there's an internal dialogue that you're having? Yes? No? Yeah. Okay, good. So I want to give two different examples. So situation one, say you are just like white knuckling it through every day, with having these thoughts about like, I really hate feeling so limited. I just can't wait till I'm done with this. This makes your experience so miserable, and you're likely to succumb to those thoughts and of just wanting to be done, because then you just will be done, you know? Situation two, you wake up in the morning with thoughts of gratitude, or you are facing a moment of temptation and telling yourself things like, I am so thankful for this opportunity to fuel my body the right way, and I am embracing this choice for myself because what I want most is to reach my goal so that I can feel great this summer, or whatever it is, whatever your reason why you want to get healthy. Your experience will be more pleasant and sustainable for the long haul if you are having these more positive thoughts, this more positive internal dialogue in your head. So I don't know if many of you would remember this, but when you first started talking with your coach, she or he probably spent a good amount of time asking you why you even wanted to get healthy, why it was important to you, why do you want to do this? And they did that on purpose with you because we want to help you create a vision for yourself that is going to help you keep going in the hard times. So just think for a second, like, what are some of those things that even got you started in the first place? Like, why were you even motivated to get healthy? And I don't know, I guess when I think about how often I feel like I'm a victim to my circumstances, or my thoughts, I just have to keep perspective and realize the reality is that I can have victory as I'm taking my thoughts captive. I'm not a victim to my own thoughts. I can choose to overcome these thoughts in my head. And so I guess I just wanted to see if anyone would be willing to share any moments in the last month of the challenge, any moments where you've mentally taken your thoughts captive and you have reminded yourself of why you want to get healthy and how it affected how you felt or you thought. Would anybody be willing to share? You got to take yourself off mute if you're going to talk.
Or if you can't figure that one out, raise your hand and we'll unmute you.
Hello?
Okay, there we go. I could tell Katie had something to say.
Okay. This goes along with wins, and Angela's my health coach, and we go to the same church, and we were in a Bible study together, and she she was just encouraging me, and like, I don't know, help. Okay, to make a long story short, I was raped when I was 16, so I intentionally gained weight to shield myself and protect myself. And now I have a wonderful husband who encourages me to get healthy, and just he's very supportive, and God totally healed me from what happened when I was younger. And another win was Valentine's Day, because that's when God healed me from being raped, on Valentine's Day. But also Valentine's Day last year, I miscarried my first baby. And I didn't give in to temptation, because I used to be, an emotional eater. And I stayed with the program on Valentine's Day. And last night I was invited to like a get together with 10 other couples, and they had what really looked good chocolate cheesecake. And I said no. And so that's
Awesome, Katie. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. I love you.
Love you. Who else? Who else has had a moment where they thought back to why they want to get healthy and took their thoughts captive and pushed forward? It's inspiring to hear from other people. I like to hear stories.
Hey, Angela, it's Megan. I wanted to share. So I am obviously here with my 13-day-old. So I have a little guy. And for me, I think my biggest challenge has been this past couple weeks has just been like emotional health, because I'm not getting a lot of sleep, and just choosing to push through that. And I mean, yeah, kind of like what Katie said, choosing when I find myself in that spot of, oh my gosh, I just can't like make a good choice right now, or I'm just going to choose to be stressed. Well, of course, we don't ever think like I'm choosing to be stressed, but when you're feeling overwhelmed by like the emotional things in your life, like taking care of little kids, or maybe it's work, it's going to be different for everyone. Just choosing to think, okay, like what is most important to me right now? Like what am I focusing on creating? And like allowing that to be my driving force. And so for me, I'm just trying to create like a new family that is peaceful and is healthy and functioning, even though we have a 2-week-old. And so if I can just go back to what my why is, I just find myself in a lot better of a spot, and able to, instead of like kind of like pitting myself like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. I have 2 kids under the age of 2, and I bet, you know, other moms aren't trying to do this, that, and the other too, and just stopping myself and being like, that doesn't really matter. What do I want? And allowing that to kind of move me forward, just focusing on what my goals are, and reflecting on those. It has been really helpful for me when I have felt mentally stressed these past couple weeks.
That's good. That's awesome. I want to hear more reasons why people are wanting to get healthy right now. I think that would help spur some of us on, just to hear like what it is that's driving us. Why are we motivated?
We have a quiet group. Don't be shy, everyone. We're all in this together.
Well, I'll share my main why, even more so really than feeling more confident, which although I'm excited about, and having more energy. I did not grow up in a healthy family. My entire family is overweight. I didn't learn anything about health or nutrition growing up, or exercise really even. And I don't have kids yet, but I'd like to in the near future, and I want them to grow up differently. I want them to be educated and have the opportunities that I wasn't given to just start a healthy life very young. So that's kind of my reasoning and my big motivation right now, is just more for my future kids and maybe grandchildren, and just my whole family down the road.
That's good. Thanks for sharing that, Olivia. I love that. I think that's a big reason why a lot of us are here, is because we're looking forward to the future, which is something not everyone does, and that's a hard choice to make. But our actions right now, like the secondary choices we're making right now, are going to create the life that we're envisioning for ourselves. So what we do right now, so it totally matters. And I mean, it really comes back to, what are we thinking in our head, and how are we getting there? It definitely helps when you're in a fat burn state though, right? You feel so good and you want to keep going. Who else wants to share a moment where you have thought back to your why?
Hi, I can share, Angela.
Yeah, Susie.
Hi. My why stem from my age, and I'm in my 50s. I lost my husband a few years ago, and gained quite a bit of weight in the past 4 years since his death, after just being depressed and just really, sitting and not being active and not taking an active role in my life. And one thing that really happened when I was doing that was the amount of pain that I started getting. I was hit by a car when I was a kid and have a lot of injuries, but with the amount of sugar and salt and everything that I was eating, I was starting to get a lot of back pain, pain in my sacroiliac joint in my hip. And one thing when I first started the program, I kept saying that I needed to lose the weight because of the pain in my back. One of the things that I found was it wasn't so much the weight that was causing the pain as that the first month on the program, as I detoxed from the sugar and the salt, all the pain went away within the first week. And so between wanting to get rid of the pain, wanting to get off of the high cholesterol medicine and things like that, that's been my why. I took a break over the holidays and just kind of went on maintenance. And I was telling Angela, it's been hard to get going again, so I really need to get back into that why. And it's hard to get going because even on the maintenance, I've been losing, even though I've been losing very slowly. So I keep thinking, oh, well, next week I'll get started again. Next week, and I lose a little bit more, and then it's next week. But it needs to be this week, and needs to be now, because I don't want to let that sugar and salt creep back up. And I have noticed, even just being in the maintenance and eating some things, that some of that pain has come back. So it's definitely related to the food.
That was excellent, Susie. Just of talking about inflammation and the part that our nutrition plays into pain and such. Mm-hmm. I think, Gloria, you were going to talk. I know we're ending soon, but go ahead, please.
Okay, I'll share quickly. One of my reasons to want to get and stay healthy is I still have a lot of people in my circle of influence, my friends, family, neighbors, lots more people that need to take heed and do what I'm doing. And so far, they haven't made that choice. So I know people are watching me. They've seen me lose weight before and gain it back. Usually, in approaching 3 years, I would have gained it all back by now. And so in my past patterns, over the years. So we have a family get together this summer, I want to look good and feel good and be able to play with the little great nieces and nephews. And people are watching, and I want to be that example that will make them want to say, okay, whatever you're doing, I want it.
Yeah, Gloria, thank you for sharing that. On the challenge today, we had a video, and Greg Rex was sharing about that we have a huge influence of those around us toward obesity or toward health. And that's exactly what your heart is saying. It's like you want to be that one who reaches out to show them there's a possibility of something better, right? We all know too many people who have passed away at a very premature age, or they're struggling with health issues when they're young, 30, 40, 50, and we're letting life pass us by and no longer a participant in life, but just an observer because we don't feel good, or we have so much pain, or, whatever the different diagnoses that have come. So I love the fact that each person is on here for that we have the same motivation, and that's to not only reach and maintain a healthy weight, but to live a healthy lifestyle. Angela, your talk tonight was amazing. It was so great. And I think that's such a key part of our healthy mind is, taking those thoughts captive. So instead of going, okay, I'm not going to think about the white elephant in the room, what am I going to think of? And I loved that Megan brought that in. It's the creative process, right? So when I have those triggers, because I will, and when life is really tough, what am I going to do then? Have a plan ahead of time. We told our teenage kids that when they were young, before you go to a party, if this, and this happen, call me. How will you get home? Who's getting you there? Who's picking you up? What if there's drugs? What if there's alcohol? And yet sometimes we are not very careful with ourselves. We're going to a party, and do we stop and say maybe everything will be unhealthy and there will be no healthy choices? Or do we just go in oblivious like, oh, la-di-da? It's like, no. We need to set up a plan for ourselves. So Angela, thank you for.
Well, and Paula, could I just I throw one more thing out there, a little exercise for you guys to consider this week. I would pick one day that is kind of like a typical day for you, where it's not going to be super dramatic or weird things happening. I don't know if you ever have days like that, but just like a normal day. And maybe like every 2 to 3 hours as you, when you're eating, every 2 to 3 hours, take a little time to reflect back on what your thoughts were over the last couple hours about your appearance, the work that you've been doing for the past 2 hours, your intelligence, your competence, your skills and abilities, and your worth. Some of those things. Think back to what have you been telling yourself over the last 2 hours, and jot those things down, and then look back and see if there are patterns. And I think you'll notice there are patterns that creep up on us throughout the week. So that's just a little thing to try if you're not really sure what you're thinking. So
I love that. Thank you, Angela. So as you're going to sleep, some of you on the East Coast, it's practically bedtime, and you're starting to go into your sleep routines, right? Because we've learned about that, tucking ourselves in slowly, not having screen time. So you'll probably have your hot bath and hot cup of tea before you tuck in. But keep thinking about even what Gloria said about your reason for getting healthy. It is about us and taking care of ourselves first, but we do influence those around us. So those of you who have a health coach, link arms with them, and also take a consideration that maybe you would be that inspiration to those around you. So I have to say that was the reason I raised my hand to become a health coach almost 4 years ago, was that I wanted to make a difference in the people around me. And I also wanted to hold myself more accountable. And so, we all have different reasons, but we would love to partner together with you. But Angela, thank you so much for this great evening. And
thanks, Paula.
Everyone have a great, great night.
All right. Bye, guys.